Hi, everyone. My name is Bronson Hill, and I'm the Director of Investor Relations with Nighthawk Equity. I have the privilege of working with a lot of our passive investors. Nighthawk is the passive investment company of Michael Blanc, and I'm here with the one and only Michael Blanc. Welcome, Michael.
Bronson, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Thanks for taking some time today. So today we're going to talk about the syndication process of investing. A lot of questions kind of come up of like, what does this look like? It's kind of new to me. How does it work? So one question that comes up is, well, how do I know if I even can invest? How do I know if I'm qualified for these deals?
Yeah, it really depends a little bit on if you're an accredited or non-accredited investor. Accredited means that you have a net worth of $1 million or more. You have an income of $300,000. If you're accredited, typically you will know this. It's an advantage because you are exempt from a lot of the SEC laws, and it's easier to invest in alternative investments. The idea being the SEC is thinking, hey, if you have that amount of money, number one, if you lose some, it's not the end of the world, and you should be sophisticated enough to make those decisions. So it's much easier to invest as an accredited investor. If you are not an accredited investor, you can still invest, but you have to jump through a few hoops. And so you have to be what's called sophisticated, and you need a substantive relationship with whoever you're investing with. Okay, so sophisticated, it's the SEC doesn't exactly define either of them, so we can only look and see precedents and things that have happened. But essentially, sophisticated means that you have taken some investing courses, some seminars. Maybe you've had previous investments in real estate or oil or precious metals. So that makes you sophisticated. And substantive relationship means that you know the person you are investing with, which means that you have some emails, you had some phone calls, you know who you are, I know something about you, and so that now maybe I've met you. So the more interaction you've had, the more of a substantive relationship it is. And that really protects both parties as well. So you fall in one of those two buckets. If you're accredited, it's super easy. If you're not accredited, you got to just, do a little more extra work, but a lot of people do it. It's just a matter of relationship building.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So if I'm an investor and I want to start getting involved in this, what does this process look like kind of on a step-by-step? What does that look like?
Okay, so if you want to learn about opportunities, let's say, for example, you want to learn about upcoming opportunities with Nighthawk Equity, which is our real estate investing firm, the first thing you would do is you would especially get on our investor list. And the way you do that is you go to nighthawkequity.com and you click the join button, which you join our investor club essentially. If you're non-accredited, we're going to you're going to fill out a short questionnaire, and they're going to talk to you, Bronson, right? We want to get to know you a little bit, and then we can show you a deal in the future at one point. And so what happens at that point is that if you're on our list, we'll stay in touch with you. We'll send you an email once every while. We have a lot of educational content like this to help you make better investment decisions. And then one day we might have a deal, and we'll email you about this deal, and there might be an executive summary. And typically what we'll do, Bronson, is we'll have a live webinar where we present the opportunity. We have the team members on that, the partners in Nighthawk, and we'll present the deal, and then there's a chance to essentially ask questions about that deal. And that's the first step. The second step is that you express what we call your soft commit, meaning that, okay, I'm interested. You raise your hand and say, I'm interested in this deal, and I'm interested in... Wow! Look at that! Did you hear that? We have this giant thunderstorm going on here.
Thunder and lightning there, huh?
That's awesome! Wow!
Wow,
Look at that!
amazing.
Just to support of my weighty words, I'm talking about soft commits.
That's powerful.
So soft commits saying, hey, I'm interested in 50,000, 75, 100,000. The minimums are typically at least $50,000, and then you fill out a very short form that says, hey, I'm interested at this level. So that's kind of step number two, and then the third step is to register with our investor portal. Now, if you're already in investor portal, you can skip this step. If not, you would just fill out a little bit of a longer form, and you get into this in portal with a username and password. And then step number 4 is that you got to make sure that you satisfy the minimum requirements. We just talked about that earlier, right? So you got to have these minimum requirements, and we check that. If we don't know who you are, we say, hey, I'm sorry, I don't really know who you are. It's great that you're on our list, but I can't present you with this deal right now because I don't really have a substantive relationship with you yet. Well, let's get to know each other a little bit more, and we'll put you on the next one. Step number 5 then is to make a formal offer. So you make your soft commit, you raise your hand. Now you're saying, hey, I'm really serious about putting in $50,000, and you specify that. And what happens then is step number 6 is you get access to the legal documents. Legal documents that you have to sign and review are the operating agreement. The operating agreement basically outlines the parameters of the partnership. In other words, who makes decisions, who are the general partners, who are the limited partners, what decisions do you get to make, how are profits distributed, what is the splits, things of that nature. So then you review all these documents, and then you typically DocuSign those. And once you DocuSign those things, you will then get the wiring information, and you wire the funds to the escrow attorney. And then at that point, you just wait until closing. And then the deal closes, and at that point, I think we had another video on this. You will then get an update on the closing. We typically have live webinar updates and then monthly updates after the closing. So that's typically the investment process.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. So what's the timeline as far as funding, at least for Nighthawk Equity, how we do it? I know we have a lot of demand for our deals, but as far as from webinar to funding to closing, can you just touch base on that?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So interestingly, some of these deals, they fund very quickly in a matter of days, 2 to 5 days. And the way it works, the only way it can work is a first come, first served basis. And what really counts is money in escrow, right? So someone can put a hard commit in there, I'm in for $50,000, and then they don't wire the money. I can't hold your spot if you don't actually wire the money, right? Because there's people who want to get in. So this is kind of a first come, first served basis. If we are at our max, we can't raise any more money. We can't accept any additional wires. If someone slips in, we would then wire that money back. So typically we have a webinar, and then the soft commits come in obviously immediately after the webinar. If someone can't be on there live, then we record a video and send it out. So typically within 3 to 4 days, we'll get these soft commits coming in. And then to people who express their soft commit, we say, okay, for you guys who are interested in investing, it's now time to do your hard commit. And so another 3 to 5 days can go by there. And then after that, the money is in escrow. And depending on the timeline, we're anywhere from 7 to 21 days away from closing. It really depends on the deal a little bit.
Awesome, Michael. Well, thanks so much. So many nuggets there, and it's really helpful to have a synthesis of that process of what it looks like to invest in a deal for someone who's new. So to our audience, I just want to say thank you for taking the time for investing in yourself to join us today. There's some next steps you can do. If you're feeling out multifamily, maybe this is new to you, you've never really kind of looked into this before, Michael came up with this amazing report at themichaelblanc.com/report. And what it is, it basically compares the stock market, other types of investing to syndicated multifamily real estate. And it's very compelling. So I encourage you to go get that. It's a free report. Everyone should look at that. And then secondly, if you feel like, you are that person that's raising your hand, you're like, I'd like to hear about future deals, then go to nighthawkequity.com/join, and you can schedule a call. You'll have a call with me. We'll get to know you, start a relationship. And we love working with our investors and really developing that long-term relationship where we can really have win-win and do very well together. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, as the next step, download this ebook right here, okay? When you've downloaded that, make sure you also subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you can get all of the videos that I release as soon as I release. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Click on that right now. And then also make sure that this is the next best video to watch is this one right here. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you next time.